podcast de cheerleading francophone. On a un épisode bilingue aujourd'hui.
Absolument.
On reçoit qui aujourd'hui?
Écoute, on a eu la chance ici, la gang, de recevoir la Cheerlebrity internationale, Gabi Butler.
Yeah! So, hope you liked it.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah. I could talk to you guys all day.
Yeah.
She could talk to us all day.
C'est un long épisode. Écoutez jusqu'au bout parce que, pour de vrai, tous les sujets sont incroyables.
C'est du bonbon.
Ouais.
Mais non, mais c'est Gabi. Non, c'est vraiment ça. Moi, je vous le dis, là, intéressant. Puis on a vraiment fait en sorte de faire ça franglais pour vous.
Oh,
Et
yes.
voilà. Fait que vous êtes au Cheer Podcast.
There you go.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Le premier podcast francophone de cheerleading au monde.
Oh, yes.
Hey! Allô, la gang?
Allô, ça va bien?
Allô. Écoute, une première
Yes.
ici. On a un public. On est rendu à la deuxième saison.
Première saison du Cheer Podcast, le premier podcast de cheerleading francophone au monde. Mais là, aujourd'hui...
Ouais, c'est ça. C'est
On est
le
rendu
premier
bilingue.
podcast bilingue au monde.
Exact.
Parce qu'il y en a
Bilingual
pas.
now.
Yes.
Bilingual. So, yes, so for about like 10 seconds, we were saying hi to everybody. It
That's
is
what
our
you guys were
second
saying.
season. And we are starting our second season. Everybody, tout le monde, on fait du bruit pour Gabi Butler. Alors, inquiétez-vous pas, la gang, on a pensé à vous. On va clairement lui parler en anglais. On va lui poser des questions en anglais, mais on va vraiment prendre le temps aussi là, de traduire en général qu'est-ce qu'elle est en train de dire parce qu'elle est venue pour vous. Elle est venue ici au Québec depuis les 10 dernières années. So, we're going to start, basically. So, hi, Gabi.
Hey, guys.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited.
Thank you so much. Thank you so very much for basically Janie, Kevin, and myself. By the way, I'm Nadia. Je suis Nadia. Pour ceux et celles qui ne savent pas.
Kevin aussi, hein? Kevin qui anime les compés de cheer avec Nadia depuis des années maintenant.
Oui.
Yeah.
Le meilleur duo d'animateurs, the best MC. So,
Je pense que oui.
if you're watching from outside of Quebec and or outside Canada and you need the best MC in the cheer world, those
Oh, that's
guys.
you, Kevin?
Yeah,
Yep.
Nadia and
That's us.
Yeah,
Nadia,
I was
Kevin.
gonna say, you got some competition. Nadia's pretty good.
Yeah,
But no, I'm
those
doing
guys
very good with
together are
Yeah.
like amazing.
We're sync. We're really, really
So
sync.
best male and female.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like both energy crazy. I'm Jani. I'm a professional in cheerleading. I own a event company. I'm a cheer coach. I'm a cheer judge. I used to be an athlete.
You cheer everything.
You did it all.
I cheer.
it all.
Yep. And so for people that are watching, well, thanks for being here. So we have the podcast, but today we had a special event called Festi Cheer, where it was a cheerleading festival. And
That was a great day.
it was a great day.
It was a great
Really,
day.
really a fun
And
day.
we are ending with the podcast.
There you go, the podcast. So basically, Gab, let's be straightforward. For those who doesn't know you, who is Gabi Butler? Gabi Butler, that is known as the Cheerlebrity, yes. So a celebrity in Hollywood, but us in our cheerleading world, we call this Cheerlebrity. So having Gabi Butler here, she is the #1 known cheerleading international all over the world. So
Ça deserve a clap. Ça mérite une bonne main
yes, of
d'applaudissement.
course. On behalf of everybody who is watching and talking to us, tell us, who is Gabi Butler? Give us a little bit short brief of who are you?
So, I am Gabi, and I am 26 years old. I started cheerleading when I was 8, and I originally was a gymnast before. A lot of people don't know this. I was a gymnast before I ever cheered. And it's funny, my mom and I were arguing, me with my 8-year-old self. I was like, I'm not doing cheerleading, absolutely not. It is a no for me. And I had a little toot when I was little, and my mom's like, no, I think you would do really well at it.
Nice.
And I was like, I'll stick to gymnastics. She made me go, but I ended up loving it, and I quit gymnastics, did cheerleading, and now I'm here, 18 years later, so.
Alors bref, oui c'est ça, bref, qu'est-ce qu'elle dit, c'est qu'elle a commencé le cheerleading à l'âge de 8 ans, les amis. Avant, elle avait fait de la gymnastique, elle a été introduite dans le monde du cheerleading grâce à la gymnastique. Sa mère lui a donné tout simplement un petit tutu, une toute petite jupe. Elle avait dit « Ah non, non, ça m'intéresse pas », mais la minute, hein, on le sait toutes, la minute qu'on rentre dans un gym de cheer, on n'en sort pas du tout. Alors, c'était le cas tout simplement à Gabi. Dès l'âge de 8 ans, elle est rentrée dans un gym de cheer, puis à 26 ans, maintenant, cette année, elle est toujours là-dedans.
That is so impressive. That's crazy. That's just crazy.
And
so talented.
where did you start? Did you start? We know you like when you started to be in the public eye. You were at Top Gun. Did you start at Top Gun? Or?
So I actually started at it was a gymnastics gym, and this cheer team practiced in the gymnastics gym I was at. So it was a place called Cheer Florida, and we were red, white, and blue. And I was on a youth, Tiny 2.
Oh my God.
Yeah, a Tiny 2 team. It's funny because when I first started, my mom was like, this might not be for you. This might not be for you, because out of like the 20 kids on the team, I was the worst. I had literally the worst back handspring, like the ugliest technique. I looked like a little frog doing my back handspring.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had zero flexibility. I was not a good flyer. So...
And you came from a gymnastic background.
Yes.
Cool.
But I was only in gymnastics for like maybe a year or two, and I wasn't even paying attention. Most of the time my mom just took me and she's like, just get your energy out. So when my second season, we ended up leaving and going to a place called Elite Cheer, and that was 30 minutes from my house. This place was like 10. That is really where I started just learning everything super fast. So from one season, I went from a really ugly, jacked up roundabout handspring, barely could do a back handspring. Then I met an amazing coach who I connected with like super well, and his name was Rudy. He got me from a round-up back handspring to a round-up handspring double in a matter of 8 months.
Oh wow!
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow. Alors bref, la gang, je vais le dire vraiment en résumé. Elle a commencé le cheerleading avec le club de gymnastique qu'elle a fait au début. La première année, et oui, Gabi Butler, zéro connaissance en gymnastique. Elle l'a dit elle-même, elle était vraiment pas bonne.
La pire de sa classe.
La pire là, de sa classe. Back handspring était vraiment pas bonne. Hey, elle était pas flexible, OK? Gabi Butler qu'on connaît maintenant, là, première année, pas flexible. Elle a dû apprendre avec ça. Elle a décidé de changer d'autres clubs. Alors, la première année, elle a fait un club avec plus ou moins d'expérience. Ensuite, elle a été dans un autre club élite. Elle a fait connaissance aussi avec un coach qui l'a vraiment poussée à faire sa gym. Il s'appelle Rudy. Et elle est partie en 8 mois à faire...
Rondade flic à rondade flic double bris.
Imaginez, en espace de 8 mois, ça c'était dans ses débuts.
Un athlète normal, ça prend combien de temps faire cette étape-là?
Ah,
De ta
une couple
connaissance.
d'années, là. Une couple d'années, un bon... et encore là, ça dépend. How many hours were you training at that time? Like when you really got into cheer? Like when...
Okay, so let's just put it this way. From the moment that I got out of school,
Yeah.
the second I got out of school, I was like, we're going to the gym. Then we got to the gym. I was the first one there, last one out. So they were like turning the lights off, like, we need to go home. Like, you need to leave. Bye. They were like trying to kick me out. And I'm like, I don't want to leave yet. So I was in the gym from basically my school ended at 2. I got to the gym around 3:30. And then I would stay till 10 p.m.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I would stay all day long.
Every day.
Every day. Even holidays, I'm like, Mom, is the gym open? I know it's Christmas, but is it open? She's like, no, we can't go today. I'm like, I would get upset. I would genuinely get like so upset and in such a bad mood if I couldn't go to the gym.
And you were in Florida at that time?
Yes.
Oh, you wouldn't like it here because we have winter here, and sometimes we
yeah,
have lots of
yeah. I see it in winter for Florida. It's like 75 degrees. So I was like, oh yeah, like let's go.
Yeah, but the amount of snow that we're getting there, trust me, during winter time. But they get an email saying, yeah, practice is still on.
Yeah.
Really?
You cannot find your car, but practice is on.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have no electricity,
Cheers
but
life.
practice is
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Okay.
School's canceled, but cheer isn't.
But okay, so this obviously, you know, it takes time to perfect and to be a good athlete. Going back with your history of cheerleading, we've known you. We've started to know you. Who's Gabi Butler? Obviously, when you were in Top Gun in Florida.
You guys met me when I was like 16?
16, but prior to that, due to the fact that on YouTube, you know, that was the trend of following athletes, great athletes. And you literally straight came with the extended bow and arrow. Like, that was the image. That was you, and I believe that we had other athletes way back, and I'm talking about like 2013-ish, okay? As soon as you came with the extended bow and arrow, that's when we spotted you. We knew who Gabi Butler was. So at that time, were you, as an athlete, aware of the fact that you were getting a little bit like much attention as soon as you were able to start to be flexible and hit those moves?
So I think when I really started noticing that people were like, you know, knowing who I was about 12 years old. I was just went to Top Gun, and I was on TGLC for the first year. And nobody knew my like name, but they always said, who is that little girl? Because I was literally like 50 pounds. I was a stick, had no butt, no nothing, nothing. And I just looked like a little stick figure. And everyone's like, she's super flexible. She could pull her leg all the way over here. She could tumble. Because I worked on everything. I worked on my tumbling, I worked on my flexibility, I worked on my flying, I worked on everything.
Yeah.
And they're like, she's so good, she's only 12 years old, and she's doing doubles, and she's pulling her leg behind her head. It's, you know, flexibility wasn't big back then.
It wasn't as required back then than it is now. Now,
Yeah.
like, all of the flyers are doing their needles, but at that time, like, the scorpions were Doritos. Like,
Yeah,
it was like
Doritos.
triangles.
Well, it's because a lot of people said you can't be flexible if you're not born naturally flexible, and I'm like, that's a lie, because I did it. And I had, when I tell you, like, I was that girl that was like turning purple. I'm like, take the picture, barely able to hold my leg, and then it was just like I stretched and stretched every single day, and I was literally like, I did it. And then once people saw like my before and after picture, they were like, what did you do? How did you do that? And what do we do to do that? So when I really started noticing when people were knowing who I was, is when there would be people coming up when I was 12 years old, and they were like, they knew my first name. They were like, you're Gabi. And I'm like, yes, who are you? I'm like, why are you asking who I am? And they're like, oh, can we get a picture with you? So I was like, oh, that was a big deal. I'm like, oh, you want a picture with me? Sure. So.
And you were 12.
Yeah, and when they asked for an autograph, I'm like, whose name am I signing, yours or mine? I really was. I was like, whose name am I signing? I don't know how to, like, what's an autograph? Like, what is that? And, you know, I was so young, and I was even more young-minded. Like, even now, I feel like I'm 3 years behind. So, like, when I was 12, I really, in my head, was, like, 9. So, when all these girls, these older girls, would come up to me at competitions, they knew just my first name, and they all were like, oh, what's your last name? And I said, Butler, Gabi Butler. So it took probably 2 competitions for people to start really like being like, oh, that's Gabi Butler. And to me, obviously, I'm just Gabi. You know, I'm a normal person. So when I have,
She is.
I mean, you know, we hung out. But it's just funny because I was so young, so I had no idea like what was really going on. I just was like, why are people coming up to me? Why do people want my picture? All that. Social media had just popped off at that point. Yeah. So I think that with me being on, you know, a big team that a lot of people watch.
Absolutely.
Social media is now a huge thing. Like that was when it just started. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that.
TikTok was not a thing?
TikTok was not, it was not a thing.
It was not existing.
But people were like looking up, you know, my name. And I only had, I think when I first started Instagram, I had like 39K, 40K, which is we did a lot.
Girl, it's still
a lot.
Which is great.
Yeah, it's a decent amount, right?
It's a lot.
So, so I was like 12, and you know, I would post like my normal, regular day, like pictures, like me with zit cream on my face, holding my birds, or my dogs, like me with my dogs.
Because you don't have social media strategy at that time.
Yeah, I mean,
just
you know,
posting whatever you up to.
My thing is, people think that's the thing with Instagram. People think you have to like do this strategic thing, like, oh, I can only post this and at this time, and I have to be, you know, the caption needs to be this, and I have to do all these hashtags. I've never done that. Never have I been like, I need to do this and this. I just post what I post.
Good.
And that's how it goes for me. I literally am just like, this is my life. Boom, and that's it. And I do it mainly for my friends.
I'm gonna hold you here because I need to translate, girl. Okay, it's been a good 5 minutes. Alors, en gros, ok. Elle a commencé à partir de 12 ans, ok. Ça lui a pris beaucoup de pratique à faire qu'est-ce qu'elle a fait. Ma question, je lui ai dit comment qu'elle a fait pour devenir vraiment big. On a commencé à connaître Gabi aux alentours de 2013 à peu près. Elle était dans TGLC, ok, qui est encore une grosse équipe Top Gun en Floride qu'on connaît, qui va au championnat mondial. Elle a commencé dès l'âge de 12 ans dans cette équipe-là. Puis comment qu'on l'a fait pour la spotter? Ben c'est ça, parce qu'elle faisait vraiment ces éléments étendus, puis on commençait vraiment à dire, mon Dieu, c'est qui cette fille-là, c'est qui cette fille-là? Puis elle s'est identifiée avec son prénom en premier, Gabi, elle s'appelait Gabi. Puis ça lui a pris 2-3 compétitions seulement pour que ensuite, est-ce qu'on peut faire une photo avec toi? On t'a vu sur YouTube qui, en 2013, pas en 2024 que vous connaissez maintenant, 2013, là, c'est là qu'on commençait à être dans les médias sociaux. C'est là que YouTube prenait, c'est là que
Facebook, Instagram,
c'est là que ça prenait le banc. Et
Twitter,
même Instagram, je crois que ça venait là.
Tout ça commençait.
Exactement. Fait que le fait qu'elle aussi ait commencé à devenir de plus en plus populaire avec ses photos, avec du fait qu'on l'a reconnue aussi sur YouTube, mais je crois qu'elle a un peu grandi avec la technologie des médias sociaux qui fait en sorte que, écoute, 12 ans plus tard, elle a passé de 30 000 followers, c'est ça qu'elle dit dans les débuts, mon Dieu, elle est rendue quasiment à 2,2 millions présentement. OK? Alors, that's it. Now we're basically going, I don't know 14. If we have other questions.
Yeah, 14. So you started being in the public's eye around 12.
Yeah.
And now you're 26. That makes 14 years of always being like on the public eye. And
under the spot.
Yeah, under the spotlight. And you've done all the biggest show of cheer. So you were on Smoed, you were on Navarro on Netflix, and like for the, and so on those 14 years, how do you stay in love with cheer? Because there's so much up and down, and like, does it come with some pressure of always being looked at every competition and having like, if it's a good competition, but you probably had bad competition?
And mind you, she was mentioning you were on SMOED, you did Navarro. You travel from state to state because these are not gyms that are still in Florida.
Yeah.
You know, you had to go from California up north, down south. You had to travel throughout those 14 years.
Oh, yeah.
Explain to us, how could you be still in love with the sport? And girl, you're going like in an up cycle. You were able to get better and better and better. How were you able to, you know, handle all of this?
So I moved away. I grew up in Florida and I stayed home till I was 14. When I was 14 years old, I ended up moving gyms. So I moved from Top Gun and I went all the way to California All-Stars, which is in California. So it was completely on the opposite side of the country.
Yeah.
So, long reason for that, but I ended up going to SMOED, and it was when Eddie was my coach, he told me, get ready to condition like you've never conditioned before. And I'm like, oh, I'm in good shape. I'm like, I was doing my P90X for 10 minutes. I'm working my abs. I'm like, yep, I'm good. I get there, I died. I was literally dying. I'm like, I can't do this. There's no way. It was the hardest team, hands down, that I've ever done.
Way back, like that was back in 2013, 2014, yes.
And I remember not having my family, so it was definitely harder than, you know, because if you have a bad day, like normally you would go back to your parents would comfort you and be there for you, and I didn't have that. So if I had a bad day, I was basically by myself. Yeah.
And you're 14. Like,
yes,
you're
all the way across the country. Like I had to take a 6-hour flight to get home. So it was a lot, but I loved cheer so much that I was like, you know what? Even though it's hard, like, I'm gonna push through and I'm gonna do what I wanna do because I had a dream to cheer on that team.
Yes.
It was something that I've always wanted to do. I always wanted to cheer with Kiara. I don't know if you guys know who Kiara Nolan is. You guys know.
Yeah.
I know, but I don't think that generation, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of the
older guys
The older know. But that is a younger generation that, maybe not, but you would have to do your research.
Yeah.
It is still on YouTube, that show.
Yeah. Great athlete.
She was, she's still, in my opinion, is like one of the best female athletes that was in tumbling, definitely, hands down.
Yes.
And she was an all-around, like she could do everything. So I actually became really close to her when I went to SMOED, so I'm super grateful. She's actually getting married in a week or two, so I'm super happy for her.
I'm getting old.
Oh
my God, she's getting married.
I know, it's crazy. So basically, doing all these things, it also came with pressure. And it's funny, because people were like, oh, she just so happens to go to every team she's on and they have a show. But the show wasn't there. The show wasn't there until I got there. And then all of a sudden, they're like, we want to come film a show. And I'm like...
So you follow the show, or the show follows you?
The show follows me.
That's the thing.
Every single time that she changed.
Everybody's like, oh, she follows the show because she wants... I'm like, no. I'm like, if anything, I'm like, please, no. Because I was like, I just want to cheer. That's all I want. I'm not a, movie, or I don't want to be an actress or a freak. Like, I just want to do my sport, and that's it. So most of the time, these shows would come literally when they knew I was on the team. And so I will say Cheerleaders was there before.
Yeah.
But Cheer, the Netflix show, they came the next season that I was on Navarro. So I had no idea that they were doing a YouTube series on SMOED. I got there and there were like cameras everywhere, and I'm like,
It got popular.
What a welcome party.
What is going on? So from a young age, I've definitely had a lot of, you know, people watching everything I do when it comes to literally what I'm wearing. Like, I go to competitions, I literally disguise myself sometimes, and people are still like, that's her. I'm like, how do you know?
Because you always have the same disguise. Change it.
I try. I put a hoodie on and everything. But being in the public eye, it's a blessing and it's a curse at the same time. Because you can, if you're even having, like, if you have a look on your face and you're not smiling 24/7, people automatically just think that you're mean, right? They catch you in that 1 second and it's like, oh, she's rude. But, you know, I'm a normal person with human emotions. So, like, let's say I'm not having the best day. I'll never be mean, but I might not have a smile on my face
human.
All the time.
Do you have any tricks or something to keep your feet on the ground?
Attends, avant de poser cette question-là, je dois traduire à mon public. OK? Non, je porte attention, je pense à vous, toute la gang. OK. Alors, la question, c'était tout simplement, depuis l'âge de 12 ans, elle est vraiment sur l'œil du public. Elle a fait beaucoup d'équipes qui ont quand même un nom et une grosse réputation. Exactement. Smoed. Elle a fait Navarro, qui a fait la série Netflix Cheers, OK, qu'on connaît.
Pour ceux qui ne savent pas, Smoed ont eu une série YouTube qui s'appelle Cheerleaders. Qui a eu un gros succès. Avant Netflix, là, c'était ça. Tout le monde parlait juste de ça. C'est ça. Fait que les jeunes, si vous avez jamais écouté ça, c'est super bon. C'est sur YouTube, puis ça s'appelle Cheerleader, puis ça parle de l'équipe de Smoed.
Oui. Qui fait en sorte que la question ici qu'on lui avait dit, le fait de faire ces grosses équipes-là, c'est pas à côté, c'est pas tout en Floride. Okay? Elle devait aller en Californie. Alors, de Floride en Californie, passer de l'Est à l'Ouest, elle était toute seule, elle n'avait pas de famille, mais elle a dit que le cheerleading, c'est plus qu'une famille. Elle aimait vraiment ça, c'est une passion. Donc, elle était prête à faire ses sacrifices. Il y avait
6 heures de vol de la maison.
6 heures de vol de la maison, c'est ça qu'elle a expliqué. Elle a dit aussi que le fait d'être dans Smoed, elle, en étant une Cheerlebrity maintenant, ben, à son âge, elle avait une Cheerlebrity. Elle avait quelqu'un qu'elle aimait vraiment beaucoup, Kiara, qui était vraiment dans ce temps-là une Cheerlebrity qu'on connaissait dans ce temps-là. Ouais. Écoute, elle était parfaite. Ouais, elle
faisait une tumbleuse exceptionnelle. Elle stuntait. Elle faisait tout. Elle basait, elle baquait, elle voltigeait. Il n'y a rien qu'elle faisait pas. Elle était incroyable.
Le fait que Gabi, elle voulait absolument faire partie de la même équipe que Kiara, ben c'est ça qui fait en sorte qu'elle a dû faire ses sacrifices, puis c'est comme ça qu'elle a commencé, c'est comme ça qu'elle a vraiment continué, tout simplement. Oui, c'est difficile parce qu'elle n'a pas sa famille. Tu sais, on le sait toutes, quand on a vraiment là, une mauvaise journée, une mauvaise pratique, ben on a maman, on a papa qui est là tout de suite à la maison. Alors imaginez Gabi, elle...
À 14 ans.
À 14 ans, en plus, elle avait personne. Elle avait vraiment personne, mais elle a passé à travers ça, qui fait en sorte qu'elle est avec nous ici, puis on l'aime bien, puis thank you for everything. Yes.
So, lots of pressure going like in those teams. How do you keep yourself on the ground? Yeah.
So one thing I've always told myself is that no matter what, like even if I had 20 million followers, 100 million, I never forget where I came from. And that's a huge thing that I think a lot of people struggle with when they get big. A lot of people will let it get to them and they'll let it make their heads big and they'll get an ego. And that's something that I've met people, like famous people, that act just so rude. And I'm like, for what? Like, you're a normal person just like everybody else. Like, we put all these celebrities on a pedestal.
Yeah.
And we put them there. They wouldn't be anything without
us.
Yeah, us, right? Yeah. So, when I see someone that's got a higher status acting rude, to me, it's the ugliest thing. I'm like, it's probably the biggest pet peeve that I have. So I think from having it at such a young age and having my parents who also were like, don't ever forget where you came from, always be nice to people.
They reminded you that
my parents are the reason that I'm the way I am, 100%.
Oh, yes.
They brought me up with God. They made sure that I had everything. Like, if I was even acting a slight bit spoiled or rude, they would like nip it. And we don't, where I come from, like my family, we don't forget where we came from. We're very grounded, and you could give us everything and we will give it back. Like, we're not the type to let it get to our heads. So it doesn't matter. I could have 100 million followers. I could have 1 billion. It would not change me. And a lot of people don't believe that, but I would never put myself above anybody else. Like, to me, we're all the same, right? Like, I'm no better than anybody in this room. So I just worked really hard and kept my head down. And I think being humble is the reason that I am at where I'm at, because I think God has blessed me because of the fact that I've never said, oh, I'm better than this person. I deserve that. I deserve this. No one deserves anything. You're blessed with it. And when you work hard, things will happen for you. If you work for it, it will happen.
So good things are coming to you because you do good things with it.
Yeah. And talking about your parents, because I know personally your mom, and I talk a lot with your dad, how important, well, I know they're really important, but like being a Cheerlebrity for 14 years and like, and your parents were portrayed in the Netflix a little, I would say a little more crazy than they are because I know them. But at the same time, at the level you are at the level you compete at, like, how important is your parent being, like, I would not maybe strict, but like being all your eyes around and knowing this, like how important it is to be able to stay at that level and to help you make the good decision, like showing you the way to go, like, and still following your heart, but then having them right there.
So one thing I will say about my parents is they are more involved, but one thing that I know for a fact is if I needed my mom and I gave her a call, she would be right there.
There you go.
She would be, what do you need? My dad, the same thing. I could be like at 3 in the morning, Dad, I need you. There. So
let me ask your mom.
Like, no, I mean, and a lot of kids nowadays, I think, like, even me, like sometimes I'll be like, okay, like you're being too much. But you guys don't understand, like you are blessed to have parents who are involved, because a lot of parents nowadays aren't. So be grateful that your parents are involved, because they are the first ones to catch you when you fall. They are your #1 supporters. They're your best friends. They will be there for you through anything, and that's what my parents have done for me. I mean, my parents, anytime I wanted to do something, let's do it. You want to move to California? Let's move you. You want to be on this team? We'll be right there supporting you. You want to go to Thailand? Let's go to Thailand. Like, my parents my parents are the reason that I'm here, honestly. And if it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't be who I am today, and I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in.
Wow. Ça mérite une traduction. Alors, franchement, ça mérite une traduction. Tout avant, OK, Kevin avait posé la question.
Comment tu restes grounded?
Comment tu restes...
Avoir les pieds sur terre.
Les pieds sur terre.
Avoir les pieds sur terre, OK? Puis Gabi, elle a dit qu'on vit vraiment dans une société, vraiment qu'il y a des personnes, malheureusement, tu sais,
Des personnes célèbres.
Ouais, des personnes célèbres. Ils ont vraiment le nez haut, là. Façon de parler, ils vont vraiment te voir comme si tu venais d'en bas. Elle aime vraiment pas ce style de caractère-là. Elle l'a dit, elle est humaine comme vous, vous êtes humain devant. Elle va parler, elle va avoir vraiment une conversation super simple avec vous. La minute qu'elle sent ou qu'elle voit qu'une personne se prend pour un autre, elle, là, elle tourne la page. Elle est vraiment pas dans cette même catégorie-là. Puis on a continué avec Janie qui dit, écoute, tes parents, tu sais, elle a parlé aussi de ses parents, le fait d'avoir une bonne éducation, le fait que ses parents ont vraiment inclus aussi les messages de Dieu aussi, elle est très croyante aussi. Alors ça a vraiment forgé sa personnalité, ça lui a donné vraiment une bonne base, une bonne fondation. Donc Janie lui pose aussi, à cause qu'elle a impliqué ses parents, tes parents ont été vraiment dans ta vie, surtout dans ta vie de cheerleading depuis plusieurs années. Elle l'a dit, puis elle vous a regardé aussi. OK? Elle a dit, c'est très important, les athlètes. De toute façon, on l'a dit aussi en compétition. Hein?
Tu fais en sorte que les gens remercient leurs parents.
Absolument. OK? Parce que les athlètes, on vous parle. OK? C'est vraiment pas facile, c'est pas donné, surtout dans le monde du cheerleading que vous faites en ce moment. Elle, imaginez, elle a dû voyager. Elle a dû vraiment laisser sa maison familiale, aller dans un autre état pour être en mesure de pratiquer le cheer. Nous autres, c'est soit qu'on change de gym ou c'est soit qu'on veut pas y aller durant l'hiver puis on commence à chialer un peu. Non, elle vient vous dire toujours remercier les parents. Toujours, toujours. C'est grâce à vos parents que vous êtes ici.
Quand elle a dit c'est les premières personnes qui vous rattrapent quand vous tombez, c'est vos parents.
Ça, là, c'est la meilleure phrase qu'elle a vraiment dit, qu'on continue toujours à dire. Vous avez vraiment pas idée que vos parents sont tout, OK? Ils veulent vraiment votre bonheur. Et la Cheerlebrity vous l'a dit directement. Puis c'est vraiment quelque chose qu'on pratique.
Ouais. Puis elle a dit, soyez contents que vos parents veulent s'impliquer dans votre sport.
Absolument.
Fait que, tu sais, quand on dit, ah non, mais je veux pas que ma mère vienne, ou non, soyez contents d'avoir des parents qui s'impliquent et qui vous supportent dans ce sport-là, parce que ça va vous aider à continuer et à continuer longtemps. So
I hope she trusts us because we can say whatever we want.
Absolutely. She's just
Thanks for
looking
trusting
at
us.
us. You know?
I'm like, yeah.
It sounds like it.
It sounds so beautiful.
Right? I'm like, wow. I'm just amazed. I'm sitting here like, wow, they're really doing it.
Before we asked some questions. So just before we go to the public questions, I just want to know. So in all those years, like, do you have one like highlight of your career, or maybe some highlights, or
Let's say if you want one video to stay on YouTube forever.
Forever, ever, and ever.
Gosh.
What would stay there?
You know, like you're talking about in my
in your cheer career, yeah.
There's been so many good memories.
There's been a lot.
There's been so many.
There's been a lot.
I would have to say.
Coming to Montreal.
This is that's one for sure.
Because people are so lovely here.
Yeah, they are.
I don't know, man. I have so much for you in my head. First of all, the Top Gun, where you used to wear the leggings. This is where I notice you. Parce que oui, avant, on avait des leggings. Les tops, là, en 2013 ou 2014, ils avaient des pantalons. OK? C'était beau à voir, mais plus ou moins. Mais c'est là qu'on l'avait reconnu. Half hair up.
Yep, half up, half down.
There
Curls. My hair was like this long.
Elle était vraiment petite.
Ah ouais,
elle était petite.
Elle est pas très grande maintenant, là.
Exactly.
Still, yeah.
Second highlight is literally Moed for me. As soon as you came with the little poof, head.
It's all about the hair.
Oh, yeah, it's all about hair.
Thank goodness that those are out of the trend, because that was terrible. I remember literally having to sit for hours and try to brush it. And my mom would be like, stop. I'm like, no.
The higher, the bigger, the better.
So bad for you. Oh my gosh, my hair, I would be bald at the end.
But besides your hairstyle, do you have any great moment in your career?
So, I will always remember this one. It's a core memory for me. It's kind of a cliche answer, but I think the first time winning Worlds for me was like a memory that literally, I could get chills over just thinking about it because I thought we were gonna get third. Because
You didn't expect it.
I didn't expect it because Eddie, our coach, this was my first year that I moved away from home.
Okay, yes.
So the first time you won world was with Smoed,
Yes.
not with Top Gun.
Yes.
Okay.
So I messed up in the routine. I didn't fall, but I bobbled. So a bobble at Worlds is still, it's a lot. They count it a lot.
That was the year with Xavier.
That was the next year. 2014.
Okay.
Xavier was my base in 2014.
Okay.
He's from here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone thought I...
So continue your
So,
highlights.
yeah.
Go ahead.
But basically, I remember I messed up, and I was like, I just messed up for my whole team. I was so upset, and I'm like, I just worked all that time and moved away from home for nothing. I literally just felt like everything was just like sad. I was just sad. Very, very, very sad.
You thought it was on you?
Yeah, I thought we were gonna lose because of me. So I was like, I was beating myself up, even though I didn't fall. I saved it, but it still was like, it was my stunt. So I was like, I ruined it for everybody. And that was like literally like weights on my chest. So when we went into awards, Eddie was like preparing us for the worst. He's like, hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Okay.
And I thought, we're probably gonna get third. So when they called the third place team, I was like, I'm like,
well, second good.
I was 15 at the time. I was 15, and I was like, literally, I was just praying, and I'm like, Lord, if you let this happen for me, like, I will literally just be forever grateful to you. And they called the second place team, and my head literally just shot up, and immediately tears were like, not just like little tears, like I was bawling, like ugly crying. They have a picture of me, and I was literally like holding my hand over my mouth like this.
Yeah,
like,
because we don't want to react when they announce the second place.
Yeah, and I was just like, I was literally like just tears of joy, and it was one of the happiest moments.
You asked for it, so God said, deal.
Yeah, and it just made the win like that much better because it wasn't like oh yeah, like we know we won.
Yeah.
Michael Eddy was on the team too?
Yeah, Michael Eddy was on the team, Kiara was on the team, and everybody was just like, it was insane. And then the next year we won, and it was like, all right, cool.
There you go. Écoute, le highlight, on lui a posé la question dans le monde du cheer. C'est sûr et certain qu'elle a vraiment beaucoup de moments là, super bien.
Et des coiffures.
Et des coiffures. Elle a passé à la télé et tout. Elle a vu Ellen DeGeneres. Mais quand même, c'était quoi ses highlights? Et puis elle l'a dit, c'est peut-être un cliché, mais le fait de gagner les Worlds pour la première fois, ça a été vraiment son biggest. En 2013, avec Smoed, elle pensait avoir gagné la 3e place parce que elle-même, tu sais, quand on le sait, là, que soit tu as un peu bougé ou tu sais que tu n'as pas vraiment hit ta routine au complet, tu penses que tout est ta faute. Mais elle a vraiment ressenti ça, qui fait en sorte que quand elle est allée aux Awards, et puis coach Eddie les a préparés mentalement pour dire ça se peut qu'on arrive 3e. 3e, c'était notre équipe. Ah, ok, ça se peut. 2e. Puis elle, dans sa tête, elle a dit, peu importe la position, elle a dit, mon Dieu, j'aime ce moment-là, merci, je vais vraiment apprécier. 2e équipe, c'est pas Smoed. Écoute, elle a fait la face, elle a pleuré, le ugly cry, vraiment. Ok, elle l'a tout donné, mais ça a été vraiment son moment le plus précieux qu'elle a vraiment aimé. Beaucoup.
Yay!
Okay, on passe aux questions du public.
Oh,
J'en ai
yeah.
donné 3. So I have 3 questions from the public. So, Coralie from G4s, who are you?
Allô, Coralie!
Do you have a ritual before competition?
Great question.
Oh, good question. Colin. Parfait, ma
That
belle.
is a good question. That's
Écoute,
a great one.
Coralie, ici, on prend les questions du public. Alors, Coralie vient tout juste demander à Gabi, est-ce que tu as un rituel avant une compé? Good job.
That's a good one. That's a good one. So I have 2 answers. When I was about the age of like 8 to 12, I used to crack open pixie sticks and just, and I would be like, oh, yeah, pixie sticks. It's just powdered sugar.
Yes.
But in my mind, I'm like, I can't go without my pixie sticks. So I would literally like 5 just, and I would. Yeah.
Sugar addict.
Sugar. I was like,
It's still
yeah.
on, by the way, it's still on. Me and Kevin in backstage, we're able to prep the teams and everything. They come with their sticks and they're like, we're getting ready. I'm like, okay.
Yo, I was like, and all the 10-year-olds on my team were like, yeah, let's go. Whoa. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was my thing, like when I was younger. As I got older,
Or you're not winning anymore.
As I got older, so like I went through phases. Like there was a time when I was on Smoet, I was super calm. I didn't talk a lot. I was very to myself, and I would put headphones in and just listen to music. And it was mainly rap music, T-Pain, Lil Wayne, Drake, Nicki Minaj, all those hype songs, and I was in the zone. I was like, yeah, nobody bother me. I'm like, yeah, I'm in the zone. Then, at the age of like 18, like 19, 20, I was literally like all over the place. I was dancing, I'm like getting in people's faces. I was like, yeah, I'm that hype teammate that's like, yeah, why are you hype? I was dancing and like just literally acting like a crazy person.
Good.
I still act like that. Like if I'm going like before, I'll scream and like I'll get in.
Hey, it's your ritual. As soon as you have it and it clicks, you stay.
Sugar rush 10 years after.
Yeah, so before Daytona, everybody, you know, like some people are like pacing, some people are, you know, praying. I pray always.
There you go, girl.
Even when I was little, I would pray. But I was, you know, more quiet, and then as I got older, like in Daytona, I'm like, wow, we about to kill it! And everyone's like, Gabby, okay, we heard you, we know. And I'm like, you gotta believe it! I'm like,
hey guys, it's Gabby. There you go.
you can hear me from the front of the stage. I'm like screaming to the top of my lungs like a crazy person. I got that!
Bonne réponse, bonne réponse.
Alors, la réponse, ma belle Coralie, elle en avait 2. Quand elle était plus jeune, là, les petits sucres, là, les petites paillettes là, avec remplis de sucre, là, hein? Elle en shootait 5-6 là, juste avant d'arriver sur le stage.
Faites pas ça, les enfants.
Non, ben, Jenny, je te le dis tout de suite, je te confirme que ça se fait.
Ça se fait encore.
Oui, mais un pas 5-6.
5-6.
I swear, it works.
T'as la gérante en arrière qui arrive avec tout le stock, là, pis t'es comme...
Avec les bois puis les ciseaux.
Puis ça se pitch tout, là, et ça fonctionne, ok? Ça va super bien. En vieillissant, elle a laissé le petit bonbon à côté, puis elle est juste là en avant, là, puis elle veut vraiment booster toute l'équipe. Elle fait des prières des fois, elle l'a toujours fait, mais elle est là, toujours avec la voix, on peut même l'entendre directement du stage. C'est ça, c'est rituel. Elle veut juste laisser aller avant de performer.
Il y en a toujours une plus excitée qu'un autre dans une équipe, là. C'est ça.
There you go.
Okay, second question. I don't have a name, but I love the questions. This question is, were you ever bullied in a team? And if yes, how did you
Handle it, manage it, yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't necessarily say I was like bullied, but I was targeted. I'm not gonna say what team, but I left. And I was like, yeah, I'm not with the energy. No, y'all can keep that. Normally I would say ignore it and be, you know, just go in and do your thing. But I'm like, I am too grown for this. I don't need a bunch of like, quite frankly, 10-year-olds, you know, trying to tell me this and that. So I ended up leaving and beating that team.
Alors, pour répondre à la question inconnue ici, c'était est-ce que tu t'es déjà fait intimider dans une équipe? OK? Et si oui, comment t'as fait pour gérer ça? Elle, tout simplement, elle a dit, l'intimidation, non, mais, tu sais, on sait t'es qui, tu sais, on sait t'es qui, Gabi, alors, juste une toute petite coche en bas de l'intimidation, juste la targuer,
La targeter, ouais.
tu sais, toujours dire, ah, tu sais, elle est là et tout. Écoute, l'ignorance, elle l'a dit le plus possible, elle l'a vraiment ignoré, mais jusqu'à un certain point. Tu peux vraiment pas aller plus. Alors, elle a décidé de prendre ses affaires, elle a quitté l'équipe. Elle va pas nommer le nom de l'équipe, mais tout ce qu'elle sait, c'est qu'elle a battu.
Elle les a battus l'année d'après. Et voilà.
OK, c'est ça. There you go.
And the best part was that those same people were sitting in the front row watching. And I'm like, yep, let me show you how it's done.
C'est ça. There you go. C'est les personnes.
Best reading.
Kill him with success.
So
You gotta kill him with success. That's how you get him.
It gave you energy to get better.
Yeah.
Always.
Motivation.
Oh, I love it. I'm like,
Motivation.
it is.
Yeah.
It literally is. It's like, I thrive off of people telling me, oh, like, you know, you can't do this or you're this. I'm like,
Let
keep
me
it coming.
prove you.
I'm like, keep it coming. Yeah.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah.
I love this song.
Okay, it's the best. It's really the best.
Last question, and that's how we're gonna wrap up for this first episode of the Kicks Cheer podcast.
It's crazy.
It's from Camille from Flames.
Camille from Flames. Hello, Camille.
So, what are your future plans?
Oh, love
Love it. Merci, Camille. Girl.
it. What is else to accomplish?
All right. Funny thing about Nadia is she will literally be like, "Girl, I need the team. What's going on in your life? What's your love life
On
like?
se texte
What
sur
is this
Instagram.
like?"
OK? J'ai à peu près une historique de 10 ans avec Gabi. Je l'ai suivie depuis longtemps. Et j'ai la chance d'être amie avec elle. Fait que des fois, de temps en temps, je la texte. Et puis, j'ai la chance d'avoir au moins une réponse pareille.
Yeah.
Des scoops. Gabi a des
My life
scoops.
is her life.
So go ahead. What's the future? What's the future for Gabi?
So future goals. So I've never been the type to plan like my life. It's just like I kind of go with where the wind takes me because there's random things that pop up all the time and I just take the opportunities that are presented. I get this question all the time. Everyone's like, are you gonna open your own gym? Are you ever gonna like, you know, do something of your own? Maybe. It's a big possibility. I just don't know where.
That's it. But didn't you try to open a team?
It was a team.
It was
I didn't
team.
open a gym.
That's it.
That went terribly.
It's okay.
That went terribly. I tried to do my own team and I tried to coach it.
There you go.
Never again.
Okay, you
But,
did it. But
if I opened a gym, it would be a completely different thing.
Oh.
Like I tried coaching it and being on the team, and half the team was in South Carolina or North Carolina, and half of the other team was in Florida.
Oh.
So don't ever try that.
don't.
But people ask, you know, are you going to have your own gym one day? It is a possibility. I don't know where it would be. But if it does good, I might have it in multiple places.
Good.
But I just have to figure out where it would be. Now, we just did our first ever summer sleepaway camp.
Yes.
That was very, very, very fun. It was, we only did it for 3 nights, but it was a very fulfilling thing. It was a very like, you know, I just love seeing the kids and getting them new skills. It's probably one of the most rewarding feelings that you could have.
The best.
You know?
So 3 days out of camp, just for cheerleading,
But
3
we
days?
might do
Nice.
it, we might in the future.
And sleepover.
Yeah.
Friends.
We might do it like longer term. We just have to figure out like obviously where we're gonna do it and
6 month boot camp.
Yeah. But I feel like in the near future I'm gonna be doing a lot of traveling. I do love
What
traveling.
you currently do, by the way, okay? Because it's not only in the States. You do work also for Rebel. We all know that, girl, you're going everywhere. You went to Greece, you went to China.
Beijing.
No. And
Nice.
being the figure and the face of Rebel as well also, you have this opportunity to travel and to meet cheerleading wherever you go. And every country. That's really, really awesome.
Yeah, no, it is. And honestly, I think just seeing different people and meeting so many different people and getting all those connections and seeing how everyone works, because everyone has their own way of doing things, everyone has their own style. It's honestly, it's amazing. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Like, I've been so many places, and I'm very grateful for the opportunities that I've had just going to these places and meeting these people. Another thing that I would love to do is, hopefully, I want to have, I want to get myself settled down. I want to get married, obviously. I want to have kids.
Ricky, where are you?
He's here. Ricky. He's been here all the time. I spotted you. Ricky, you were here all the time. OK, on donne une bonne main d'applaudissement. Ça, c'est le petit copain de Gabi, Ricky.
No pressure.
Yeah, not sure when that's going to happen. That's more of a him question.
You got to pop the question. Okay,
yeah.
There you go.
Ricky's answer, I would like to have a gym.
Yeah. Right. He's like, no, don't ask me that. But yeah, hopefully in the near future, I'd love to get married. I would love to have kids. And, I don't know if they would be cheerleaders. They might not. Yeah, I will let them choose.
We don't have a big influence. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, I know for a fact that if that man over there is their dad, he's going to be throwing them. If they're girls, for sure.
Once a cheerleader, always a cheerleader.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So good, les amis. La question de ma belle Camille ici de Flame, ça a été tout simplement, c'est quoi le futur pour Gabi? Ben, c'est bien simple. Elle, au début, ben, elle a dit qu'elle en a deux à date, là, les deux big highlights. Elle aimerait ça éventuellement ouvrir un gym. Dans le passé, elle avait formé une équipe qui n'a pas fonctionné, puis c'est normal, c'est correct, ok, on ne demande pas toujours la perfection. Mais là, cette fois-ci, elle aimerait vraiment ça avoir un gym, être en mesure de continuer pour donner et transférer vraiment toute sa notion du cheerleading. Et la deuxième affaire, écoutez, elle l'a dit qu'elle aimerait ça, voir si elle peut mettre un peu ses années en arrière. Elle a son copain Ricky depuis...
Se marier, des bébés.
Des enfants.
Est-ce que ses enfants vont faire du cheer? Elle le sait pas et tout. L'avenir, on va voir, mais pour l'instant, comme la plupart des femmes qu'on connaît, je crois qu'après plusieurs années dans le monde du cheerleading, c'est ça qu'on veut. On veut
settle down,
relaxer.
Maman, je sais pas si je veux faire du cheerleading. Viens t'en parler pendant que je vais te mener à ta pratique.
Exactement.
C'est ça qui m'arrive.
So, Gabi, thank you, obviously. Thank you for being
Est-ce que vous avez aimé ça? Did you like it, guys?
And I would say for those who is watching, because it's going to be international, okay? We're trying to make this international. We did it French and English, having the first podcast francophone of cheerleading in the world. Thank you. What message, a short message that you could say to all of our youngsters, all of the people that, my God, since 2013 has been following you, who doesn't know you, okay? And throughout this podcast will get to know you. What could you say to the future of cheerleading? One message for kids out there when it comes to our sport.
So I would definitely say for anyone that's listening right now, anyone that's listening in the future, always just know that there's one you. There's one you, and that is what makes you so special. Don't compare yourself to other people, because you are so unique. And I think we, especially with social media nowadays, I mean, we are constantly, I've even caught myself trying to compare myself to other influencers or people. Don't do that, because there are people that want to be like you. You may not think that, but there are. And I think when we try to compare ourselves to others, we get lost in ourselves, right? So stay who you are. Don't try to be someone you're not, and just keep your head right here. Keep it straight. Don't compare yourself to anybody else, okay? You are your own person. That's what makes you so unique and beautiful and special. And I would always say, I say this all the time, keep God first, because that is the most important thing. If you ever are having a rough time in your life, keep God first. And just worry about your own path, because He'll lead you right where you need to go.
Awesome.
Wow, thank you very much. Merci. Alors, le dernier mot de la fin, le dernier mot de la fin, c'est...
La tradition finale.
Exactement, on a dit à Gabi, hein, un petit mot pour vous, tous ceux qui écoutent. Elle a dit, restez vous-même, restez-vous avec les médias sociaux en 2024. Qu'est-ce qu'on vit présentement?
Essayez pas de vous comparer aux autres, parce qu'il y a peut-être des gens qui vous regardent et qui veulent être comme vous. Donc, restez-vous, restez vrai à propos de vos personnalités et gardez votre ligne directrice. Continuez. Oui, je pense que...
Tout a été fait dans ta vie, mais rien n'a été fait à ta façon.
C'est ça. Et puis, si vous êtes quelqu'un de spiritueux, hein, si vous avez...
Spirituel.
Spiritueux. La sac, comment dire ce moment?
Spiritueux! Ça fait les 5 ans.
C'est le temps du 5 à 7.
Non, ok, spirituel.
Un peu spirituel.
Hein, vous avez votre Dieu, hein? Vous pouvez toujours aussi là, avoir votre moment aussi, parce qu'elle, c'est ça qu'elle fait. Elle dit toujours qu'elle a son petit moment à elle, avec Dieu. Alors, si vous voulez avoir là, quelques minutes aussi, ça peut vraiment aider.
Nice!
Wow!
Merci beaucoup. Est-ce que c'est ce qui rappe le premier podcast du Kickshare Podcast? Le premier podcast francophone de cheerleading au monde! Merci, guys!
Le premier podcast francophone de cheerleading au monde.